out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do, or the trouble that we get into. Other than a while, every once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent, glad you're all here. Lots to get to this morning on a Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday morning. Another nice Wednesday morning.
Peace, Strauss. Don't come in here spewing out the facts.
Daniel Wade White on the podium all the way from Canada this morning. He's in Niagara Falls, of all places. Ricky King, Greg Garcia also on the podium. Daniel Wade White, first one in.
Is he going over in a barrel?
He might. He would be one that would do that. Anybody would do that. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services.
You ain't gonna believe it. 67 degrees in Victoria, Texas right now under clear skies, heading to a high of 92.
The autumn of 2025, we will rebuild.
I'm
we will
hopeful.
survive.
I'm hopeful. Folks, especially if you're an elderly Democrat, stay inside. Wrap up in that Afghan, your protest Afghan, that your grandma.
The one you crocheted with a picture of George Floyd on it.
Yeah, it's got George Floyd over here, and it's got I stand by Ukraine, but not that chick on the train, because that guy had mental health issues. When the left comes unhinged, and the left is really beside itself right now.
Oh.
They come unhinged when the Muslims are on a protest march, and then they bump into the LGBTQ people. I don't know what to do. It's like we don't know who to support. And then, so like when the left is all about Ukraine until an unhinged psychopath black dude, not a black man, they've been treated so badly forever. Then he's got mental health issues. That is when the left is just beside itself.
And that's where they are right now. That is the angle the left is taking. Yeah. This is a guy who 14 arrests since 2011. That's one a year.
Is that
on
not
average?
Crazy?
Some of them, not very misdemeanors.
Still, though, it's obvious the dude's making no effort to stay out of trouble.
No. Or to get help.
That's right.
His mom supposedly told CNN
lock her up.
She tried to have him institutionalized and couldn't.
I tell you what,
because it wouldn't go along with it.
If somebody's parents come to authorities and say, I think Ash needs to be institutionalized, there at least needs to be some real serious scrutiny, because this guy was identified as schizophrenic. He wasn't taking his meds. These
homeless,
things,
blah, blah, blah.
These
blah,
things
blah,
are so common. Either lock these people up, come on. Come on. How does this guy, and I was gonna just then say, shame on her. That's not right. Shame on us for the fact that a young woman who's here as an asylum seeker, legally here invited.
There's the problem for the left. She's here legally.
And because she has the sad benefit of having been exposed to war in Ukraine. She was dumb enough to feel safe in America. She was ignorant enough to feel safe in Charlotte. So much so that she wasn't even looking over her shoulder as a black man in a hoodie. She wasn't jaded by our biases. She simply sat on the train and was reading a book or looking at her phone. And the guy just stands up and goes, "Yeah, I'm losing my mind," and stabs her in the neck.
Apparently, because she was reading his mind.
Yeah,
that's what he told
that
his mom
dude.
or his sister.
You know, to help the left remain unhinged, call me. I'll take that dude out in the street and bust a cap in his head and never look back.
He's so crazy. He's been charged with larceny in the past, guilty of larceny, which is theft with an intent to deprive the person of the property you take them from. You're not just taking something from them. You've taken it an extra step to deprive them of the property you've taken from them. Seems like somebody who has the ability to think things through, not act on crazy impulses.
Well, like they say at the end of the video, you know, he pulls off the hoodie because he knows they're going to be looking for a guy in a red hoodie.
Absolutely. And was spouting off about killing Whitey or something like that when he left the train.
And here's the deal.
Here's the other sad part. Nobody on the train did anything.
No.
Too busy looking at their freaking phones.
The person that finally came to the young woman's rescue was a young black man. It's not a racial issue. It's not a racial issue. However, had it been a white guy stabbing a black woman in the neck,
it would have
in a wheelchair who was a lesbian, then they would be all wound up about that. If you're going to stereotype it, the ghetto black that can't read, that doesn't have any education, don't have no daddy, they kill white people.
You know, surprisingly, and everybody but his dad has talked about his
his dad's like, "Oh man, that was a bad night. That was a bad night with his mama." But the other stereotype is it's the fringe, the lunatic fringe white kid that takes the gun to school and kills everybody. That's a legitimate stereotype.
Well, lately they've all been transgenders.
Yeah, but they don't have mental health issues. They must be included. Transgender people are crazy. And if we don't get back to that basic fundamental truth, we're never going to get them the help they need. And we're going to keep having these issues where crazy people act out. Look, if you're a dude and you put on a skirt, what are you doing? Seeking attention. When everybody makes being transgender a mainstream thing, then they're going to seek attention in other ways.
The leftists have defended illegal immigrants who have killed Americans. Well, they're just here for a better life. Now they're defending violent criminals released on no bail policies to run our streets and kill a legal immigrant. This is how unhinged, idiotic our left is. They will jump on any bandwagon and soapbox to defend anything that is that is American. They'll defend illegal immigrants who murder a young girl in Edna. And they'll defend a violent criminal in Charlotte who kills a legal immigrant who is a refugee because she's not the right refugee. She didn't come across the southern border.
That's right.
And seek asylum that way. I saw a hilarious meme the other day. I'm going to quickly pull it up because let me find this thing. It's so true. The president has 5 kids, 3 baby mamas, lives in government housing and has a mugshot, yet the liberals still hate him.
Right. You would think they'd love the guy.
They should love the guy.
He's been part of the system forever.
And the fact that it took nearly 3 weeks for this story to gain any traction.
She was white. She's white.
And you had a complicit media.
Black man killed her. Oh, got to have mental health issues. Can't just be a ghetto brother.
And then and now the mayor's claiming, well, the system let him down. And you know what?
System let him down. They should have killed him 4 crimes ago.
I don't know enough about Charlotte's mayor, but the fact that they have a DA.
Lines, I think.
Democrat?
Oh, come on.
No. But the fact that they have a Democrat, that they have a prosecutor and a DA and they've elected a bunch of people that don't want to lock people up and hold them accountable for their crimes and let them go on no cash bails and bonds. I can't imagine the mayor's too far from that political ideology is where I was going with this. But now she's clamoring. Where was the social worker on that train that could have protected her from?
I did not know. Did you know that Charlotte, would you have thought Charlotte was a top 20 sized city in this country? Number 16.
No, I didn't.
900,000 residents.
Wow. Been to Charlotte, nice city, actually. Surprisingly, some really good cuisine in Charlotte. It actually surprised me with the
Mayor Lyles is in her 4th term.
Is she a Democrat?
I do not know. I'm not sure that it's a partisan position.
I mean, it probably isn't, but still, they don't run too far from their politics unless trying to get elected in a purely Republican area. Cody Bauman checking in, Melissa Hansen, Greg Garcia, Ricky King, Linda Chris, Jarrett McCrugan, Scott Tomko, P. Strauss. We'll get to some of your comments here in just a second.
Yeah.
Kelly Fromme, John Anderson.
She's a Democrat.
Ricky King, Jordan Glass, Mark Zapata, Robert Zaveski. Good morning, Michelle Hawkins.
So that's a sure
Ronnie
sign
Howard.
there's going to be community outrage, and they're going to have to do something to help the mental health side of things in Charlotte.
Yeah, they could have done something to help the mental health
They
side of
should have
things in
killed
Charlotte.
that
This
guy
guy
a
should have been
long time
locked up
ago.
and never let go.
This idea of locking people up. I mean, but see, here's the problem, and I've said this before.
Remember when we used to do that with crazy people?
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Hitler did that. That's what that's going to be the left's narrative. If Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said, we're going to start wrapping up all these schizophrenic people, we're going to get them off our streets, going to make our streets safe. Donald Trump hates mental health people. Oh, I hate them too. Lock them up. Get them off the streets. Round them up. Get them out of here. There you go. Screaming like a banshee. The left. He was screaming like a banshee at me. That's your friend. Democrat chair.
Kelly Fromme, not only did other pastors not intervene, why didn't anyone just go to her? Hold her in her last moments of prayer over her. Zero compassion for humanity.
No doubt. But I'm going to tell you, I'll guarantee you that 90% of the people on rapid transit in Charlotte at what time of the day?
9:45.
Yeah,
like that?
come on. This ain't your normal crowd. These are the people that are homeless that ride the train all night. These are the people that are out causing problems. That's a good place for law enforcement to profile. I would start out on rapid transit.
P. Strauss says they're more worried about the Epstein files because they think they'll have something on Trump.
Yeah, it's like exactly what they said the other day. If Donald Trump came out with a cure for cancer, Pat Talley and Tammy and a handful of others would be at the Patty Dodson going, leave our cancer alone. We have a right to cancer. Pete McNally would bring donuts. Cancer is a human right. The planet's overpopulated. We need cancer, screams the left. Ugh. Unhinged left.
Linda Chris, let's get to the real problem. They're schizophrenic people because they are on drugs. That's an actual problem that we need to fix. Yeah, I think Jarrett McCrugan pointed this out earlier this week. We didn't get to it, but there's a study in Canada that shows a high link to the increase in schizophrenia and the weed use in Canada.
Let's talk about the quick hypocrisy, though. Donald Trump can decide, and I did see a video the other day it was really quite hilarious. There was a drug boat, and the drug boat was trying to hide by a tanker. They're going around and around this tanker as a Venezuelan Air Force jet. You would see the water coming up because the jet's trying to sink the little drug boat, and the drug boat's hiding behind the tanker because he knows that the guy's not going to shoot the tanker.
Yeah.
Well, flash forward, and that not that specific boat, but the drug boat ends up coming into U.S. airspace, and we just sink it. And that's okay because Trump can do that. And I've told you why. Why is it that Trump can do that?
Why?
Because we're the biggest and oldest and most important country in the history of the world. And nobody's been around longer than the United States.
True story.
And so they sink the Venezuelan drug boat, and the left comes unhinged. Those people deserve due process. They got due process. Drugs, boat, dead. Love it. Let's move forward.
Well,
At the very least,
they actually were, trying to attack the naval.
Well, they also, at the very least, they kept 11 Venezuelans from coming into this country illegally. Kill them. They'll quit coming. Kill them. They will stop coming.
They'll stop.
Trump's not upset about that. Trump hasn't even addressed that. He's like, he's cool with that. So if you look at it objectively, is it not a little bit hypocritical? Just squint for me. That Trump is highly disappointed that Israel attacked Qatar. Attacked them. We all know, we've been talking about it for 2-3 years here on the program, that all the muckety mucks, all the leaders of Hamas live in Qatar. And Israel's taking the fight to them. I'm proud of Israel. I told you a long time ago, don't mess with the Jews. They always win. There's like 8 of them, and they beat everybody in war every time. It's kind of like they got that Ark of the Covenant thing out in front of them. When was the last time the Jews lost a war? Never. They got attacked right after they became sovereign. They held ground. 7-day war, no problem. 6-day war, whatever it was, 8, whatever it takes. Don't mess with the Jews. It's just like a given.
Didn't they beat 2 countries in that 7-day war?
No, they just beat up on everybody. It's dumb. It's dumb to attack them.
Qatar was a mediator in the ceasefire talks, which haven't worked. Come on. Let's be honest. So while they're trying to broker a ceasefire, they're harboring the terrorists that attacked Israel.
Just got that from Will Franklin. He says Poland shoots down Russian drones. First time NATO has fired. Europe is on the brink of war. Major escalation. We've talked here for months, Will, and thank you for that. We've talked about the idea that Putin. Well, it's been rumors that he had cancer. Yeah. He just may want to burn it down.
Remember early on when in the war, when Ukrainian missiles or Russian, but the missiles ended up in Poland, and I think they were Russian missiles.
Yeah.
Turns out it might have been Ukrainian missiles trying to get Poland into the war against Russia.
Jared McCregan just summed up the whole first segment of the show. He says, what ridiculous drivel. Now, I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't either.
I know he's not taking exception with us. Must be something about the left.
I don't get. I'm trying to figure out how Qatar is one of our closest allies in the Middle East.
Money. It's oil. It's all oil.
Well, it has to be oil.
A&M has a campus over there, or did. They're wrapping that up. Boy,
they are the biggest funders of Hamas. They've allowed the Hamas leaders to live in their country so they don't have to live in the squalor they've created in Gaza.
That's right.
That they keep their people in. Nobody's outraged but us on the treatment of the Palestinian people in Gaza by the leaders they elect
That's right.
and look up to.
Jared, that's a given. That's every comment.
Because the left doesn't hold anybody but accountable. Everybody's a victim. Hamas is a victim.
Yeah.
To the left.
Hi, Carrie Bump. Let's take a quick break. Just keep rolling. You're rolling, man. Go. You got it?
Says Stewart, says Qatar refuels our Navy. Literally, that's why we like them.
Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Get to Palace Bingo and just set the world aside for a couple of hours. Go out there and $15, you can sit down and play. You're helping 7 local charities. The money stays here. That's a great thing about it. Palace Bingo. You can also go at lunchtime. They've got a great grill out there. The food is fantastic. The people are even more fantastic. Get to Palace Bingo this week. USA Concrete Coatings, 578 Home. Let Charlie Garcia help you and yours. He can bring your driveway back to flat, seal the cracks. He can even put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat on that driveway. Make your house look new again. Went Services, Went Electrical. When I see the Went trucks on the roads early, they service down into Corpus. They are the preferred generator.
They'll go as far
dealer.
into the valley if they need
Oh,
to.
they go all the way down. Yeah, no doubt about it. They do a great job. Call Went for all your electrical needs. Super folks, been here with us for almost a decade now. Atzenhofer and atzenhofer.com. Get by Atzenhofer and see the USA in a Chevrolet. Go by and ask for Tommy Taylor. He'd love to come out and visit with you. Congratulate him on becoming the dealership principal. Super fine gentleman, super fine product. Atzenhofer is your home for vehicles in Victoria. Chesnick Furniture. I drove by last night, and Chesnick had kind of like some low, inviting light. There's so much beautiful furniture in their showroom. If you've ever thought about, let's just go look, you might find a piece that you want to build your living room around. You can totally change your home with the furniture in your family's room. Go by Chesnick and see why you just always do better at Chesnick, because Chesnick and Love make your house a home. What do you got, Dad?
Well, I was just looking. I mean, I understand, Qatar's in the Persian Gulf, but the United Arab Emirates right next to it. I thought we were friends with them. Kuwait, just up the road. We went to their defense when Iraq attacked them back in the early 90s.
It's just chaos. It's whichever rat is in charge of the cheese that month.
Saudi Arabia is right there. I mean, I mean, I don't know. There's nobody else that could help refuel our naval ships, but a bunch of terrorist harboring.
You just can't.
Sultans.
You can kid yourself that.
I mean, they're all terrorist harboring sultans in the Middle East. Let's be honest. Saudi Arabia, another huge funder of terrorism, but
all men are created equal, but they aren't like us. The atrocities that happen, the Hamas folks walking through the streets in Israel and beheading children with machetes, and the left here said, "Oh, come on, is it really that bad? Come on."
Well, and you know what?
You really think that happened?
And then when one of our military members does something like that in the Middle East, the left wants to take all our guns away from our military, right? But then they'll all organize protests in response to the Palestinian plight in Gaza.
Yeah.
Don't care about the thousands of people killed in Israel at a peaceful music rally.
Joe Gomez points out that tomorrow is 9/11, and we swore to never forget, but yet now we've got all kinds of foreign, Arab leadership now in Congress, now as the mayors of major cities. They're all leftists. They're all here to destroy America. Question for you: as the years go on, Now, they always label us conspiracy buffs, but I like to think we're just independent thinkers. As the years go on, what percentage, hi, Marina, what percentage of you think this is a true statement? You see, those guys came in and they learned how to fly Cessnas at a local airport. And then they weren't rated, for jets and certainly not passenger planes of that size. And then just because security was so lax, they were able to commandeer multiple major airline jetliners full of people, and they flew them into the World Trade Center.
Box cutters. People were afraid of box cutters.
Now, I believe that those guys actually did get in and fly those planes, but I believe they were highly trained operatives. So they flew the planes into the building. Now, here's what
I think they were trained before they got here. I think the ruse was going to the flight school in Florida.
Absolutely. But here's where it gets
good. They were well beyond a Cessna.
What you don't understand, because you're not an engineer, is that when that plane hit that building and that huge fireball happened, that was only the tip of the fuel iceberg. Now, that diesel, that fuel, that jet fuel, it laid out all over the floor of that building, see, and then it caught on fire. And then it systematically burned through the girders. And that's why you saw that building go boom, 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 boom. And you can see the little flames come off as that building collapsed on itself. Which is less likely, that actually happened or that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone?
Why does one have to be mutually exclusive from the other?
That's how the left does everything. Do you people really believe? Do you really believe that all of that happened and that it happened the way the government reported it? Or do you possibly believe that somebody like Hillary Clinton said, what are we going to lose? 4,000 or 5,000 people? This will get the American people. This will get some action out of these people. I'm talking about the deep state, not Hillary, people that Hillary answers to, people that W answer to. You see W in these, he's reading that book and they tell him, he's like, what? What happened? I don't believe that for a minute. I think those buildings were systematically blown up and destroyed, and they fell on each other in an orchestrated military attack. And the American people can't handle the fact that somebody got in here and destroyed things right in the middle of our faces, in the middle of New York City. That's how vulnerable we were. And it gave W the chance to go back and get after his dad's enemy. Yes, Building 7, Will Franklin. Nobody ever explained to me how one world, two world, the World Trade Centers fell, and it was like 5 blocks away, another building went down that was full of paperwork from some department that nobody really wanted anybody to find. It just fell on its own. There's like buildings between. There's like me and you, and down the hall over there, a trash can just falls over. Come on, man. I ain't buying it.
I mean, I do. As I'm getting older, I have a hard time believing those buildings just.
They fall. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. And if you look at the videos, you see like little flashes. They were demolitioned. They were demolished. To believe otherwise is to close an eye. I'm not saying it wasn't an orchestrated attack on our country by a foreign nation. I'm saying it wasn't as simple as, well, see what happened was the diesel spread evenly and then it flowed down the girders and it just weakened the entire skeleton. BS. Those buildings were demolished.
I mean, that's pretty thick concrete. Every floor of an office building, if you've ever been in one.
No doubt about it.
And they had asbestos in them. That's a fire retardant.
Yep. Very interesting to me, too. You ever you saw that? I thought about it just a couple of months ago. We had that plane that crashed in Ireland or whatever it was. Remember, it took off and almost immediately went down. And when you go look around, there was like wreckage everywhere. Pieces of the tail, say big pieces of airplane, big pieces. They didn't find a barf bag at the Pentagon. They didn't find nothing at the Pentagon. They didn't have, nor in Pennsylvania, they didn't have that hangar where they reconstructed the plane.
You're telling me the Pentagon didn't have any cameras facing outward from the building as a security measure?
They were off. The guy that
country's
ran
center of
Epstein's
defense?
candles was there. Yeah. Will Franklin says, which foreign nation or nations? I don't know. I mean, there's people, Will, that go so far as to say that Israel was behind what happened here. That's true. Just telling you, trying to get us moving. Yeah, no doubt about it. What did Andy Rokovich say?
Building 7 was hit by burning pieces of the airplane and building, and then all the firefighters went to the towers. The towers fell. Most of the firefighters died. For the following 12 hours, Building 7 burned without anything to stop it. And it eventually fell after hours of fire.
And Andy believes that. Okay. I'll go with that. Yeah, there are a lot of folks. There are a lot of folks that believe that
Andrew Alvarez is the guy that ran the cameras at the Pentagon, was later hired to run the cameras at Rikers Island, where Epstein was.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am certainly not anti-Semitic, but there's a lot of it. War is hell. There's a lot of people that think the Mossad was involved in what happened here. Not because they don't like America, but because they needed to spur America. Make no mistake about it. Israel is like a teenager. You know, like you've got a teenage kid, and like in your mind, it's like there's the family unit, and there's dad, right, mom, and then there's the kids. But in the kid's mind, it's the kid, and then dad's over here, mom's here.
I'll play one against the other when I need to get what I want.
And Israel is the ultimate petulant teenager. Make no mistake about it. Everything revolves around Israel to them. And arguably to God. It's just the way it is. And people die in war. Israel lives in a state of perpetual war. I have no problem believing that could happen. Yeah, John Anderson, the World Trade Center was an orchestrated implosion. Who planned it is my question. Yeah. Now, see, Daniel Bird says the missile hit part of the Pentagon, but nobody ever said it was a missile. They always said it was an airplane, because a missile then would be an out of the ordinary. It wasn't just a couple of guys stealing planes that used to fly Cessnas.
Well, the Pentagon didn't lose several billion. I've looked into that. I don't believe Rumsfeld and others had talked about money gone missing, but it wasn't so much that somebody just went in and took several billion out of a Pentagon safe and took it somewhere. There was a lot of misappropriations. Doge should look into that. But they won't. Lee Hall, good morning. Or Leah Hall. Torn Bales. Deidre Johnston. Who else is checking in that we hadn't seen yet? Rena Scherer, good morning. Stephanie Connie.
Yeah.
Like Joel Go.
I like
John
that Stephanie says, I don't believe
Posey.
our government anymore. No, I don't believe our government.
It's hard to.
At all.
It really is. It's
your government. Look, the American, you see it here every day. The American people, by and large, are stupid. They are. They just are. And they're sheep.
I don't even say it's the American people. I think it's people in general
are stupid.
And here's why. We've been indoctrinated for so long to trust our government, and that government knows best.
Because your rights aren't inalienable. They don't come to you from a creator. That's
Tim Kaine's telling you this.
Yeah,
Tim Kaine, the government.
He was almost vice president. He was expected to be vice president. Hillary Clinton probably blamed Tim Kaine for not getting elected.
If she would have blamed him for not getting elected, he'd be dead by now.
And he said that, your rights are, if you believe that your rights don't come from the government and our laws, then you're just, you think like an Iranian.
Well, to tie it all back into Israel and Gaza, Donald Trump yesterday criticizing the strike against Hamas leaders in Qatar, right? Let's call it what it is. They didn't attack Qatar. They went after Hamas leaders being harbored by Qatar in Qatar. Everybody knows they've been living there in palaces and penthouses, and that they are all billionaires.
Yeah.
We've done them. We've shown you that money trail in the past. They've siphoned off billions from all the humanitarian aid over the years that has poured into Gaza,
Yeah.
their terrorist activities are funded by Qatar. But President Trump says he found out about the plan too late to intervene.
But Netanyahu said, hey, look, this was a peacemaking move that will hasten. If you can cut off the head, the snake will die. His idea was to hasten, the quest for peace. Did you see that? Go ahead.
This kind of highlights the point that it's all interwoven, because if Israel wanted Donald Trump to find out about it ahead of time, or the U.S. to find out about it ahead of time, you're telling me with all of the capabilities that we have for clandestine information, eavesdropping, we get told that we found out about some potential terrorist attack that we've subverted in some dark web chat room somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think Trump's
somehow we didn't know about this, or didn't have the ability to know about it.
There's diplomacy there. He knew. He was told to sit this one out.
My point.
I agree 100%. He was told to sit this one out. Did you see where yesterday the president did go? I've been there. Joe's, a beautiful steakhouse right in the middle of D.C., and it's right in the middle of town. That Donald Trump walks. It's him, J.D. Vance, Rubio, and Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, it's Hitler, Goebbels, Himmler, Rommel.
Yeah, they're all there.
Eva Braun, they're all there.
They're all there. And Hitler just said, Trump just said, look, we're out here on the street in D.C., middle of the day. Look, safest place in the world. And you and I looked, and in the back behind him, up above, there's a guy just standing like this. He's not Secret Service. He's checking it out. He's in an office building. And he's just like looking out the window.
The woman in the office next to him doing the same thing.
And you're like, wow. I mean, DC is safe. The left is unhinged. The left is like, I can't believe that he deployed military on American citizens. No, what he did was he sent the National Guard, who ain't doing nothing, to solve a problem. And guess what? He solved the problem. And Chicago's going to be next on his list. We've gotten to the point in this country where we've accepted the ghetto. We've accepted, look, blacks. The stereotypes, unfortunately, unfold as being true. Black America, not blacks in America, plenty of great black people. I said 3 or 4 that I know well pop into my head, many of whom overcame unfortunate situations. I've got great friends that grew up under the hill, got educated. One went into the Marine Corps.
Had two parents in their homes too, though, didn't they?
One became a police officer. One of them didn't have, dad wasn't around, but overcame. Not we shall overcome. He overcame and grew up and became a man and became a father. But Black America is a wasteland of single mothers, dads with multiple baby mamas. Ain't no child support being paid.
No,
go listen to Chris Rock. He'll tell you the truth about the ghetto. Blacks that can't read. Every opportunity on the planet. Free public education. Get you a voucher now. Go to a magnet school. Don't tell me that the fact that blacks live in the ghetto is white America's fault. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Well, that's the systemic racism that the left talks about.
Well, no, it's systemic opportunity that's rampant that some take advantage of.
Sheila Jackson Lee made a career
out of being ghetto,
out of keeping the ghetto in the Fifth Ward.
Absolutely.
And somehow managing to stay elected through all that.
That's right.
Did the people in the Fifth Ward never leave the Fifth Ward?
I mean,
to see what life could be like if you actually stopped living off the government dole?
Shouldn't they just steal a car and drive out of there? I don't get it. Hi, Tom Price. I don't understand the idea, but here's the problem, and you're starting to see more and more of it. White America is tired of getting blamed for all of the problems: mental health, schizophrenia, multiple arrests, stabbing random white people on trains. I didn't do that. I didn't do that to that ghetto thug in Charlotte. White America is tired of
Michael
that.
Brown's buddy, the one who lied about the hands up, don't shoot narrative that the media believed,
got killed by a black guy Sunday
in Ferguson, Missouri, where's the left? Remember when all the focus was on Ferguson, Missouri, suburb of St. Louis, because Michael Brown got killed by a white cop. All the focus on Ferguson. And when you looked at the cameras and the CNN crews and the Fox crews, and they were all there, and it was a shanty town. Bars on broken windows. Where was the left trying to clean up Ferguson, Missouri? Nothing's changed in Ferguson. High crime. Michael Brown's buddy doesn't live to 78 years old, the life expectancy in this country, because he's gunned down on the streets of Ferguson
by another black guy,
because he's living a life of high crime and high risk and high death. Where's the left trying to fix Ferguson, Missouri? They're not. They're too busy blaming everybody for the problems in Ferguson because nobody is held accountable anymore for the decisions they've made in life.
No, there's no doubt. Daniel Bird has two great points here. Daniel Bird says, take new identical housing complexes, separate by different cultures, races, and such, and sit back and watch what happens. Peter McNally says, you're right, Brent. You don't understand. Peter, you care so much, Pete.
But Peter understands.
Peter understands because, he's so worldly at 80 in his home in Galveston. There's places in Galveston that Pete won't go, but it's not because they have a cultural problem there.
Tammy Williams, unfortunately, his mother's have 11 kids. And here's the thing.
Mom needs to put her legs together.
And here's the thing, though. It's not just a black thing.
No, it's a white trash thing, too.
There's people in all through this country, regardless of race and skin color, depending on the government to fund their ability to exist.
It's interesting how it rolls off the tongue so easy to say white trash. And fortunately, white trash services has made that a much more positive phrase. But you can't say, black trash. You can't do that. They don't have trash. They have disenfranchised folks. They have mental health folks. They have undereducated folks, underserved folks. It's always whitey's fault that other people fail. And the only reason that white people succeed is because of white privilege. And that's what I always say. And I always love, welcome to all of our listeners. And I'm stereotyping on Magic 95.9 because see, the wrinkle in all that is the brown person. They work their tail off. Their culture is family driven. You don't find not very often do you find the Hispanic male who's not married to the baby mama. They don't just run around dropping kids all over the place. Much more family oriented as a culture, as a stereotype.
So was the mob.
Yeah. Well, the mob, the mob, at least you know what you're getting. The mob's better than most of Black America. Sorry.
They all had mistresses and
sure. Then the mob became the Democrats because of John F. Kennedy. Yeah. So let's have a little background music during our next break.
Okay.
And see if that'll play. I guess not.
Did you turn your Bluetooth on back on?
I
Remember?
did. I just don't know.
Turn your volume up.
I'm trying so hard.
It's all right.
Let's see what happens.
Put that up. We'll start the break if you put that screen back up.
There you go. Let's try now.
As the snow flies.
A little bit louder.
I don't want
commercials.
Lisa Marie to come. Oh,
Chicago morning, a poor
Wow.
little baby child.
Veracruz Restaurant today is Caldo
It is
Wednesday.
Caldo Wednesday.
Get in today. Caldo Wednesday, great.
And his
You're going to love it. Get into Veracruz today. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300. Let Allen be your
there's
go-to
one thing
tattoo.
she don't need, it's another.
They're going to help you. You're on the side of the road. If you're in the ghetto, Allen's will come get you. They ain't scared.
Don't you understand?
Dollar Floor Store. Stop on by. See Tamara. She'll help you clean up the flooring in your house. Get you better flooring at rock bottom prices. Brand name, quality flooring at the best prices around. They save on the overhead and they pass all those savings on to you.
Part of Vita Wellness, get in and get healthy. Vita Cafe, very busy lately. Erica Briggs told me yesterday she's looking at trying to get some new, she's already updating the menu at Vita Cafe. You owe it to yourself to get in there and enjoy the Vita Cafe. Chopping block, Wacky Wing Wednesday. Get in today for discounts on wings.
All marinated. All you got to do, take them home, throw them in the air fryer, on the grill, in the oven. They're so good.
Linda Chris says, you're right to some degree, Brent, but I've met several Hispanic men who have 6 children by the age of 30. Well, it's because they start having kids at the age of 14, but that's a whole separate issue. Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten away from, and see, everybody says, oh, here you go, want to talk about church.
Well, we used to send that teenage mother, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, she went to go live with her aunt somewhere.
Yeah. But see, what nobody understands is we have the license to play music. We have the license through our relationship with Magic 95.9, but Facebook doesn't know that we have the license.
I have to tell them every time.
They're so unable to be educated. It's like they can't learn.
There must be so much turnover.
Yeah. We have the license to play music.
Staff. Yeah.
We could sit here and by the way, we would be great at this. You could play a song and I go, oh, that reminds me of this. And then I could play a song and our audience would be enwrapped in the great classic music that we could play and the stories we know about those songs. Yeah. But you can't do it because the Facebook would shut it down.
Michelle Hawkins says, my husband worked with a white guy whose paycheck solely went to support all his baby mamas, or went to all his baby mamas. Yeah. Irresponsible hedonism.
Yeah.
isn't bound by any race. But the government has made it so in all of the government is trying to keep Black Americans down.
No doubt about it.
It's so obvious.
No doubt. I've said it for years. The Democrats promise you a slice of bread.
And I shouldn't say just Black Americans. Anybody that they feel can be disenfranchised according to their views is who they're trying to keep down.
LBGTQ.
People who don't make $80,000 a year now.
Drug heads. Oh, come on in here. Use this clean room. We don't expect you to clean up and quit doing drugs. I mean, it's your body, your choice. Come on in. We'll just give you clean needles. The left has no argument for this. When you hit them with these facts, they scurry like roaches when the light comes on.
They thought, I mean, look at Canada. Oh, we're just going to provide safe spaces for people to get high, and we'll give them the needles to do it. We'll provide them the tools and the safe place. What happened? And all the bleeding heart liberals living in some of those communities who welcome those safe injection sites are now clamoring to be shut because petty crime in those areas, break-ins into people's garages and garden sheds, and tools have gone missing so that they can go fence the hammer to get their next fix because, the government is one step away from providing them the drugs to get high.
B Small's looking for that clean room. Daniel Bird says the problem isn't skin color, it's a cultural issue, which allows me to answer both Michelle Wilson Hawkins and Linda Christ. There are a lot more white people on welfare than anybody else. There are a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot more white people. Percentage-wise, there's not as many white people on welfare, but the number now is something like, I mean, I'm making this up, but somebody knows the answer. I think something like 65% of this country is on some type of government assistance. I could end that like
that makes sense. You got an aging population. They're all on Social Security.
Cut them off. That's not government. That's not, the Social Security is not government assistance. Not in any form. That's simply the government giving back what I've been paying in for all these years.
Medicaid?
Maybe.
But here's how you know it's a government driven issue. Why? People in Russia have the same exact issues. There's the haves, the have-nots, and the government tries to keep those people down.
No doubt.
China picks winners and losers all the time.
No doubt.
Rural China is poverty.
Torn Bell says,
Hamas.
If you move that mouse. Torn Bell says, same thing with the left's ridiculous idea of defunding the police. See, what people don't realize is there's places in Baltimore, there's places that the cops have literally turned it over to the inmates. They essentially have their own prison. They live in hovels. They kill each other wholesale. There are parts of Chicago that the Chicago police just don't go. There's gunfire every night, and Chicago police don't respond. They've turned it over to them. Those people all need to be rounded up. And there might be a few that are salvageable. But see, if Trump really does that, he's a fascist. Hitler rounded people up too. I don't want to round someone up. Hitler wanted to round up anybody who could dilute the gene pool. If you had a special needs kid, Hitler wanted to euthanize that kid. I don't. That's not anywhere. That makes sense. That's Hitler. I mean, that's a Hitler thing. What I do want to do is find the guy that's been arrested 14 times that thinks that he's, schizophrenic. Let's lock that dude up. Peter McNally says that Torrance' comment about defunding the police is an outdated topic.
It's not because here's the problem, Pete. Now they're dealing with the problems that defunding the police from the Summer of Love caused. They cut funding. Now they don't have enough police to police.
That's right.
They poured all this money into electing DAs that will go soft on crime, and now we're dealing with the problems. It's not an outdated topic. It's a very relevant topic.
Patrick Strauss, he's 2 for 2. He says, I can rate the show on how much the leftists post. It's a great show today. There's only been a handful of them. Where is your friend Jill Buchanan?
I don't know.
Y'all are practically pen pals.
Fox News. Murder rate in D.C. hits 0. No homicides since the National Guard walked in.
No, but they're
taking over. That's the fascist.
That was not his right. He had no right to do. He had no right to end crime in D.C. Now, Peter says in Beaumont, gangs are shooting gangs. Well, that's true. Let's just break that on down further. Blacks are shooting blacks. And like I've said for years, at some point, they got to run out of blacks. I mean, the people of Chicago are just sitting in their condos waiting for all the blacks to be dead. It's like Brian Small says, yeah, thin the herd. Let the gangs kill the gangs. I think they should get together and have cage matches and let white people watch it. It's dumb. People are crazy. Beer's good.
God is great.
Absolutely. All the time.
Oh, I'll tell you what's not so great right now, the Astros. First Day Bank Astros update.
Oh, bother.
I had to do it. I had to go there.
Brian Abreu just kind of choked last night. It was 3-1. Good ball game. And then, although I am a little concerned about Luis Garcia took himself out of the game early.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Didn't even get through 2 innings.
Did he feel something in his elbow? I haven't heard that. Hopefully he's okay.
Kimbrel got the loss because he pitched the 10th after Abreu sucked.
Yeah, Abreu gave up 2 runs.
Here's the problem with the rule in baseball where you have to face so many pitchers once you come or batters once you come in. You no longer have the ability to realize, okay, this guy doesn't have it. I'm calling on the next guy.
Yeah. Jonathan Williams says Brian Abreu always chokes as a closer. I agree. He's a great setup man, right? 8th inning, he 3 up, 3 down. As a closer, it's like I don't know if he panics and really seeks to throw that 95-mile-an-hour heater or 98-mile-an-hour heater right out over the middle of the plate, but
He was hitting 97 yesterday.
he does give it up. What are the standings? That's all we care about this point, right? We got 18, 19 games left.
Yeah, here's what happened in the 9th yesterday.
Oh, do share.
Abreu comes in, bottom of the 9th, 3-1 lead.
3-1
Walks the
lead.
first batter.
That mistake. Can't walk the first guy.
Then he got Barger to strike out swinging. Clement then singled to center. They brought in a pinch runner for the first guy that walked. So runners at first and second, 1 out.
Right. All you need is double play
Then he
ball.
walked Schneider, who I think was hitting like 240.
Unforgivable. You don't walk the 8 or 9 hitter.
No. The bases are loaded. Then another guy who I've never heard of playing for Toronto hits a single to left. He scores
struck
2
out
to tie
Springer.
it. Yeah.
Miles Straw came in. I think he finally got him out.
Yeah, that's what happened. Struck out Springer and then Straw flied to center, but the damage was done.
Yeah. Jonathan Williams says that the Astros called it elbow inflammation, which is Astros wording for his UCL popped. Yeah, that makes me, yeah.
Let's see where.
Peter McNally says now it's a great show that we're talking about sports. Pete, I love you, sir. And I just know that as a Kennedy Democrat, there's just no way you believe the stuff that you support
But
here.
the left avoids any accountability. And when they're called out on their behavior and the fact that they enable what has gone on in this country since the 1960s.
There's no doubt. The fact that I always said that the Democrats promise you a slice of bread and then they give you crumbs from their table, but they ain't ever going to teach you how to bake. They always want you coming back to get that slice of bread.
Yep.
So they can give you crumbs and tell you how lucky you are.
Seattle beat the Cardinals 5-3. So the Mariners just 1 game back of the Astros now in the
I still think the Astros are going to win the division, but you can't tell me that either the Astros or the Rangers are healthy enough to make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, Cleveland's starting to play better baseball.
I think
they're
the Mariners are
in
going to go to the
wild
postseason.
card race. If things were to end today, Seattle would be in the playoffs. They would have one of the wild card spots,
I think
which
Seattle's
means
gonna
whoever
go to the
finishes
playoffs,
second in the AL West likely get a playoff spot. But yeah,
Brian Small with the quote to close the commentary. He says, man, wouldn't we have so much more respect for someone like Pete if they stood up for common sense, regardless of party affiliation? Brian, you're so right. You're younger than me, but in our youth, both parties wanted the same outcome. They just saw social issues and funding differently. Republicans wanted to fund it through a strong economy and the taxes that came from that. The left just said, give us our money now. Yes, you won the show, my friend. You won the show. Now they want radically different things. You've got people automatically saying socialism is better than capitalism. You've got people that are into all these nut job fruitcakes, purple hair. Come on, people.
well, and now there's so much pressure from even within the right and the Republicans. You got Donald Trump talking about a national housing emergency and maybe wanting to declare one. That's not the government's problem or role.
Brian, you
tomorrow.
can do the phone flip, but if you rip your jersey off, we're going to see the wire.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see the wire. Folks, we hope you have a great day. Man, love your neighbor. What you do, think globally, act locally. Globally, be smart. Take care. Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my